Almost. Well, hello everyone. I'm First Alert meteorologist Alexa Minton. I'm in for Chris Bailey for the rest of the evening. Thanks for joining me here on Facebook. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about. I know it feels kind of weird because we've just had a bunch of dry days in a row and we've started to see, those clouds building. I know I'm not the only one that has seen them, and you can see them kind of blocking out our pretty sunset right now over downtown Lexington. You can still see a few glimpses of that pretty sunset out on the horizon. But folks, we are about to head into a lot more active of a week ahead. I know we had a beautiful day on Mother's Day, and then that rain is now coming. It's catching up to us finally. You can see across our First Alert radar network there's a little bit of moisture that's getting picked up right now. There's a cell that's isolated over near Frankfort and our friends in Franklin County. But folks, what we're really noticing is this is a lot of our radar picking up moisture that's already embedded in the cloud cover. It's like the precursor to our storm. So not all of these cells that you see popping up are necessarily reaching the ground. Most of it's just stuck in the clouds because we're going to head into a pretty active pattern. I mean, you can see once we take a bigger step back, we've got this low pressure region that's out circling over parts of the Great Plains. It's what's pushing in that cloud cover, but it's also what's giving our friends all up and down parts of Illinois, parts of Missouri, parts of Iowa, giving them those storms. Eventually, that's going to catch up to us as we work our way throughout our week. You can see those rain chance trends. We've got rain chance trends Tuesday, Wednesday, relatively dry on our Thursday ahead, but then we come back in strong Friday and Saturday, and then we even have rain chance trends Sunday into Monday, folks. That's definitely a lot more rain than what we've been dealing with. I mean, we had like I said, a beautiful Mother's Day, a great start to our day, and then the rain is going to start rolling in nonstop. But we've already had a very wet year here in Kentucky, and we're going to keep up with this wet pattern. Looking at our radar network, you can see popping up later in our evening tonight. This is around your 11 o'clock hour. You can start to see some more widespread showers embedded within that cloud cover. But the real strong stuff, we're going to save that for later in our morning tomorrow. Your morning commute tomorrow, though, still a few slick spots. We got the cloud cover, a little bit of showers embedded within it. I'm not saying like it's going to be reduced visibility, but you might notice a few slick spots on some of those roadways. Storms, though, start coming in strong as we see this band of rain with tiny or isolated cells that are heavier embedded within it. So you can see like one's moving into parts of Fayette County, one's moving into parts of the Richmond area, one's moving into parts of London. So it's going to be kind of like touch and go as we track these storms across the board. Might rain for some people, might not rain for everyone. You can see it's still scattered relatively throughout our day. This is now 5 o'clock on your Tuesday where we start to see the next round pushing into our region. We've got a stormy setup for this week because after that first low pressure area moves across, we got another one following up behind it later, talking like Thursday night into parts of your Friday. So that's why we see rounds of storms and heavy rainfall for parts of our region. So definitely getting pretty active for our week ahead. Now, our American model is saying like 1 to 3 inches of rain as we look at the next 7 days. The European model is shooting a little higher, so I'm going to go with that one because I'd rather plan for the worst case scenario and then be pleasantly surprised once we end up being a little bit lighter, because our European model is saying we could get like 1 to maybe 4 inches of rain. It's saying you could get 3¼ inches of rain in Frankfort, around 3½ inches of rain in Lawrenceburg. So definitely a very wet week ahead, especially after we just had a wet week last week. We've had a wet year clears, so lots of rain is on the forecast. But for your next 3 days, we'll wrap up our combo today. Next 3 days, what you're going to be noticing is a few storms returning. It's not all day stuff. Thursday is going to be your best bet to have a dry day. If you're trying to find time to do some yard work outside, it'll be Thursday during the day, but we are going to see that small storm risk return back in parts of the evening. Now, folks, thank you all for joining me. I'll be back here tomorrow again for Chris Bailey for some of those evening shows, but you can catch me on WKYT tonight at 10 and 11. Thanks for joining me. You all have a great rest of your evening.